So, Jesus, that's a massive wasp. I mean, is it even a wasp? If that thing kills me, well, I'll be dead. Anyway, so it's been a hot minute since I've done a video. This bike's taken me a long time. I have endless amounts of issues with the stripping of the paint, and then the painting took a little while longer, and then I got busy, so it just took ages. But this is going to be a little bit of an extra, I say extra long, it's just longer video today. I'm going to get more into it because we're going to do the actual teardown, and the paint will be finished within this video. So for this build, I actually got contacted by Bottoncino, these guys here, and he was like, do you want to team up and do a retro 90s paint job on a retro 90s bike? I was like, that sounds sick. And then he was like, we're also going to involve Baby London, this guy here, and we're going to get Spray.Bike, these guys here, to give us a load of paint for it. And I was like, that's a great idea. So being a 90s retro kind of build, we decided the best kind of theme for colours would have been the fluorescent paint from Spray.Bike. So the fluorescent colours we used were pink, yellow, green, white, and all black. That was our theme. We could do pretty much what we wanted with those colours, but those are the colours we had to use. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen this already, but this was my test can. So I decided to go for a bit of a fade from the yellow to the pink, splatter of the green, because obviously splatter always looks good, and then this kind of 90s pattern that I was going to do by hand. So that's what we went for. But if you don't already follow these guys, give them a follow, check their stuff out, and go check out the bike that they did for this collaboration. But without further ado, without wasting any more time, let's go back to the colder weather, I believe February or March, when I actually started tearing this bike down. So this is my Haro Extreme, I believe from 1990. I found it on Facebook. It was like £25. It was crusty. It had Shimano XT group set on it. That's what I could see in the photos, and that's why I ended up getting this, because at the time I didn't actually know what this brand was, because as you can see, it's been painted potentially by brush. I think it may be spray paint because there's overspray on all the parts, so that's annoying. But yeah, it's got a nice group set on it. I don't think I'm going to use it for this build, but they will be used on other things because they're all pretty good. But yeah, let's get this thing taken apart, starting with the dreaded seat put. Oh, it came loose. That's a good sign. That's a lot of seat posts to get out of a bike. This was the moment I started getting a little bit concerned about the stem. I'm pretty sure at this point it was made out of aluminium, and this is a steel bike, so we all know where that's going. But like, seriously, I just couldn't get the bung out. And when I finally did, I realised why and started to worry. You could see from the actual stem as well that it like was already corroded like right round the edge on the join, so like I knew it wasn't going to come out the fork, but I gave it my best. I ended up kind of putting another fork within the fork and to try and twist it. I put the wheel between my legs. I tried everything. Actually, a friend of mine came over this day, and I don't have any of the footage, but we spent a good couple of hours really trying to do it, and we just left it. I moved on to the rest of the parts, took those off. Everything else came off reasonably well, as long as I actually use the spanner the right way, obviously. The cranks were really nice and really good condition. A lot of these kind of bikes in this state, the cranks are all destroyed, but these all come out really nice, so I'm definitely going to clean them up and use them on another build. So before anybody says it, yes, when I put this in, I was tightening it instead of loosening it. Oops. And yes, I'm still doing it the wrong way. I did do it the right way. I don't have footage to prove that, but I promise you, I did do it the right way. I even then put some solvents inside the seat tube as well to see if I could get it to loosen up, but nothing. So in the end, I moved on, and I come back to it. These brakes were super tight, so I ended up using a couple of spanners to kind of lever it off. It worked pretty well, apart from the fact that I hurt my hand.
Ow!
So the bar ends on the handlebars had been cut at some point, and they were really, really rough, so I couldn't actually get the brakes off, so I had to use a grinder to kind of smooth it out before they come off. So back on the fork, I tried to use a little bit more leverage, so basically spanner and hammer. Try and break it loose. It didn't work. Now, using the correct amount of leverage this time, and the correct safety shoes, I get the BB another go. Oh, I also put it the right way as well. Bingo. And that'll be why it was stuck. Look at that. It's proper crusty. I promise you, I tried a million things before I tried this, or did this, but it had to happen. And that was that. It fought back a few times, but I finally had it all stripped down. Everything that didn't need to be on there anymore, or needed to come off for the paint, was off. And I could now move on to removing all the paint, which took ages. So I didn't film a lot of the sanding because, well, it's sanding, it's pretty boring. But I did start to get some logos come through, so I thought I'd kind of show you guys a little bit of it. But it's definitely a Haro Extreme, I now know that for sure. And I'm pretty sure I know which model it is as well, so I'm going to pop that kind of on the screen right now. So it's this one, I think. While I did have the logos, I decided to like measure them a little bit. I'm going to do some vinyl to kind of like redo the branding and stuff on this bike. So I measured it so I could try and do it the same size. I ended up changing my mind and doing it smaller, which you'll see in more detail later on. But if you can, and you are going to do this sort of thing, measuring the logos really helps to kind of get them the same size. Another thing with this bike, because of all the weird angles it has, like it took such a long time to do all the sanding, especially this section here. I had to do basically all this by hand because I couldn't get my sander into the gaps. So yeah, it took ages. The BB obviously needed some work as well, as you saw earlier. Like, it's flaky. I did use this and posted it on Instagram. You guys weren't very happy about it, but it did kind of help a little bit, kind of get some of the chunk out of the threads. But I did soak it in Evaporus as well, like a lot of you suggested. I just don't have the footage of that, I'm afraid. But this is before the Evaporus, but you can see the threads are a lot cleaner now, but it's still pretty crusty. So next job was the priming. And then, as if by magic, I added some black. This was to put all the vinyl on, so the logos on the front of the bike will be black. And I used the Cricut, like I've used before, to kind of cut out these designs. And that was that. That was ready for the paint. So the vinyl was on the bike, and it was ready for... Why is the music got so dramatic? This song's got really strange. I didn't expect it to go this way. I think we need to change it up for the paint. So probably one of the best and worst things about Spay.Bike paint is that cloud. It looks awesome, but like, I was covered, which is fine. Oh, I've also been asked a few times recently about my mask. I'm going to put a link below for it. It actually is an affiliated link. That's more like it. So if you do pick one up from that link, it would really help me out. So I'll put that below. Watch my skills. Let's see how fluorescent these colours really are when it gets dark. I saw old Shovel do a fade with a plastic bag recently, and I was been dying to try it, and this bike just seemed like the right one. And look at it, like it works so well, and I'm probably going to use this on multiple bikes in the future. With the splattering, I used a glove to start with because I saw that somewhere as well, but I didn't like the way it was coming out, so I just went straight for the cap instead. Now onto one of my favourite parts, which is removing all the vinyl. I don't actually have any footage of this just because I did it whenever I could and kind of when I had time, but I then hand drew all the kind of the shapes, the nutty pattern on the back of the bike. It took ages, but I think you'll agree it looks pretty dope. Well, now that's all finished, I feel like we should step back and look at the paint job. So that's where I'm going to leave this video. I'm still waiting on some parts at this point. They've arrived now. I'm going to be building it in the next couple of days. So the next video will be the finished bike, and hopefully I'll have some time to get some riding footage too. But as always, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Do subscribe to the channel so you can see the finished build. I've got a lot of really cool things coming up. But if you can't wait for that, why don't you take a look at this video here? This is the last bike I did. It's really cool and you'll like it. Yeah.